The Claws of Awaji DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows just launched. I want to tell you important info you need to know, including some things that I want to rectify as Ubisoft miscommunicated some things to me that I then told you. You can get a very powerful free weapon for a limited time. There's also a pretty crazy new armor set you want to keep an eye on, and way more. But at first, when booting up the game, you will see a new free quest pop up called Go with the Bow. I will talk about the requirements in a moment, but yeah, this of course unlocks the brand new bow staff weapon type for Naoe. You can then also spend mastery points in the full bow tree, so unlock all the abilities like the throw, where you grab an enemy and throw them against their friends. With flurry of blows, you lock an enemy in place, dealing quite some damage, and press the light or heavy attack button when you are striking the enemy to get health back, which is great. But the best ability is totally Wind Step for 15 seconds, and you can extend this as well by killing enemies. You have better reach, speed, and more easily break the enemy's defense, so you can brute force your way through them. It's a really fun weapon with way more depth compared to the other weapon types, also because of the multiple posture stances. With the top one, you can counter an enemy attack when you time it right. With the neutral stance, you push enemies backwards, and with the low stance, you drop enemies on the floor, after which you can follow up with a ground strike. You can also do a chain assassination with the weapon. If enemies are standing close to each other, you can take one out and then go to up to 2 other targets, but you need to have the chain assassination skill unlocked in the assassin mastery tree. And also cool is that if you have the Tento equipped, you can first do a double assassination and then still chain to another target. I want to share more tricks for the bow staff in the future. If you found anything, of course, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, if you don't own the Claws of Awaji DLC, then this rare staff with the 24% armor piercing with posture attacks is the only bow staff you can get, at least right now. Ubisoft first told me that other blue and purple variants would drop in the world after getting your first bow staff, but that turns out not to be the case. Also, if you check gear vendors, you cannot buy any bow staffs, while that is the case if you own the Claws of Awaji DLC. That expansion also includes 2 legendary bow staffs with some very strong perks, but more legendary bow staffs will be added through Helix packs that we can then at one point hopefully get through the exchange. Still awesome that Ubisoft gives everyone access to this new weapon type though. That was not the case for some of the Valhalla weapons, but you need to have finished the main story before you can see this mission. So complete all the main story targets, Naoe's personal storyline, Yasuke's personal storyline, the quest for Jinjiro that appear every season after completing one. And you also have to do all Tomiko's missions to then in the end get the Out of the Shadows quest. After that, the Go with the Bow quest should appear near your hideout. Basically, if you have the red assassin outfit, you are good to go, and this is also the requirement for doing the Claws of Awaji DLC. Now make sure you download the expansion separately as well. On PS5, simply scroll down to see it. It should be available like this on other platforms as well, although there is an issue at the time of this recording, but Ubisoft is already aware and working on a solution. If you pre-ordered the base game and applied your code for the Throne to the Docks mission, then you should have the DLC for free. Otherwise, it's $25. Kim won my previous giveaway for the DLC, but thanks to Ubisoft, I can start another one. Link to that for if you want to participate in the pinned comment. Be sure to like the video, subscribe. And now let's continue with a free weapon you can get for a limited time, the Moon Eater. And this gives you 100% extra damage, but in exchange you cannot use rations. And as you can see here on the Nightmare difficulty, it's really strong if you combine it with the right items. Like here, I use it with the perk from the sharpened ceramic katana that was at the exchange recently. I told you about it, make many videos on it, so you should have it, because then you can slow time on an armor break, and this happens now way more often because of the extra damage. And you can then also way more easily stay alive. Pro tip is to switch to your second weapon and then grab rations to get health back. You then also keep your rations, but the moment you switch back to the Moon Eater katana, you lose all your rations. We'll make a build video in the future, also with a build dedicated to this katana. In the meantime, you just want to get it, because it's a Twitch drop right now until September 29th. In the video description, I've linked to an article that tells you how you can link your Ubisoft account and Twitch account for if you have not done that yet, and then simply watch 4 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows streams on Twitch. But you can just open a window, mute the stream, let it play in the background. That's what I did, and then the items can be claimed from the Twitch drop menu, and then the next time you start the game, you will see the items appear. By doing that go with the bow quest, you also get 2 brand new armor pieces for Naoe. With the chest piece, you have a 40% chance that a shockwave triggers when taking damage, pushing enemies back. But as you can see, the effect is really short, and normally you can already dodge out of the way of any follow-up attacks after getting hit, even if the enemy is not pushed back. So this one is really bad. And then we also have a headband with guaranteed critical hits after switching targets. Maybe this gets better later in the post-launch when we have more things that trigger on crits, because this is a pretty easy way to have them always trigger. This look is, by the way, a recolor of one of the Claws of Awaji outfits, but to be fair, I think this variant looks very cool. The Claws of Awaji DLC has 2 new legendary armor sets per character and 1 new legendary weapon per type, with again the bow staff having 2. We'll go in depth on all the DLC items in a future video very soon, tell you how to get them. Right now I want to look at the new Firecracker pack, because as you maybe have already seen in this video, this pack includes some very fun perks that will be awesome to get at the exchange. I want to start with Yasuke because we've been mostly talking about Naoe in this video. So the highlight for him is the Screaming Rocket Bow that lets regular arrows explode with a radius of 2 meters. So you basically have this Firework style explosion appear when shooting at a target. This then also staggers and damages nearby enemies, so you can very easily keep enemies away from you and deal with groups. It's super strong, and the trinket actually increases the damage of this effect and the radius of the explosion. Naoe has the same trinket, and for her armor pieces are the most interesting. As with the chest piece, a kunai explode in a radius of 2 meters. Luckily in stealth this means that you're not immediately alerted, but it's mostly nice when using the kunai in combat. Although I would argue that the headpiece is way better because this adds that effect to a shuriken, and they also apply daze, so a combat tools build is finally viable as this is very strong. Even just quickly applying daze with some quick shuriken throws during an encounter is really powerful. Naoe also has a new Kusarigama with the firework effects, looks crazy during nighttime. This one applies daze very fast, but it's not amazing or anything. We'll of course keep you posted here on the channel when these items appear in the exchange. Right now they are part of a Helix pack, including this crazy fox with a fuse as a tail that is kind of distracting. I still wish for a way to turn off certain magical effects from Helix items, that would be nice. So Claws of Awaji is, I think, some of the best content the game has to offer. Every target you go after is slightly different with some pretty cool boss fights and new mechanics. Don't go in expecting too much from the story, but especially in terms of gameplay, I had a really great time. So I think it's worth the $25 if you, like me, enjoy the game a lot. Again, the new items you get are quite awesome too, and you then also get the new abilities for Yasuke. First, Ubisoft said that they would be available to all players. It's actually still in the article on their website, but this is sadly not the case. It does make the DLC more worth it, because some of the abilities, especially for the Naginata that you see right here, very strong, and for the katana and the teppo are really cool. Click on the screen if you want to hear more story spoiler free impressions after finishing the DLC. I'm not showing any footage in this video. I think that's the best way to do it, so then you don't see anything, just hear me talk if you are curious. Subscribe, I will do a video with all the new items from Claws of Awaji and how to get them very soon. Leave a like and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.